Hi everyone. I'm sure you've heard of the Segment Anything model by Meta, and you also know that the Esri Imagery team has taken that model and ported it over to the ArcGIS system for use in ArcGIS tools like ArcGIS Pro. What I want to talk to you about is what's the easiest way to get high-resolution satellite imagery into ArcGIS Pro so that you can use it with Esri's pre-trained GeoAI models, how to run the pre-trained Segment Anything model on that high-resolution imagery in ArcGIS Pro, and how to derive business value from the output of that model. Let's get into it. So the easiest way to get high-resolution satellite imagery into ArcGIS Pro is through the EarthCache for ArcGIS Pro add-in. It's a free add-in that you get from the ArcGIS Marketplace, and you'll also need to create a free EarthCache account through the EarthCache website. Once those pieces are in place and you've installed the add-in, within ArcGIS Pro you'll be able to navigate to the new EarthCache tab, and you can acquire high-resolution satellite imagery in one of two ways. So you can either search the archives for satellite imagery that's been captured in the past, or you can order satellite imagery, which is essentially tasking satellites to go and capture imagery for you for your area of interest in the future. Now this can be a one-time capture or a recurring capture. So if we're searching our archives, what we need to do is we need to select or draw an area of interest. So this can point to one of our polygon layers. We can select a start and end date for searching the archives, as well as a set of resolutions that we want to search the archives for. Now, I know that the pre-trained Segment Anything model tends to work best on satellite imagery that's captured between 15 and 30 centimeter resolution, so you want to be really getting that very high resolution satellite imagery. You can see a preview of all the different types of imagery that are available to you. You can select the one that you're interested in, download and license it, and you'll end up with a clipped full resolution imagery inside of ArcGIS Pro like I have over here. Now once you've got this imagery, you can run the pre-trained Segment Anything model against it by jumping to your geoprocessing tools, clicking that detect objects using deep learning tool, pointing it to your imagery and giving it an output name, and then pointing it to the pre-trained model definition. So how you get to the model definition is through the Living Atlas. You hit that little button there. On the left-hand side, you'll click Living Atlas and you'll search the Living Atlas for Segment Anything, hit Enter, and you can see the Segment Anything model, or SAM, being made available to you there. Once you hit OK, that model will be taken and read, and the parameters will get populated here, and this will take just a moment. Once the parameters are populated, you can hit that Run button at the bottom, and the model will be applied to whatever imagery you've selected. And once you've run the model on your imagery, this is what the output will look like. So you can see it's gone ahead and it's segmented absolutely everything that it could find in that imagery. So there are boats in the harbor that have been segmented, there are cars on the streets that have been segmented, entire lots and roof forms have been segmented, trees have been segmented. It's a visually beautiful output, but the business value might not be apparent at first glance. So if I was to click on any of these segmentations, you'll see that they've all been segmented into the same class. So boats are called segment, cars on the street are called segment, and you'll need to do some sort of post-processing in order to make this useful. Now, that doesn't mean that the model itself isn't useful, but the application of the model should be really targeted. So what we're looking at here is what I like to refer to as diverse imagery. It's a cityscape with tons of different things in it, but where the model is really useful immediately is in more homogeneous imagery. So that's imagery that only really has one type of thing in it. So if I was to contrast that diverse imagery with an example of homogeneous imagery, it would, for example, be just a clipped area of the inner harbor of Marseille, which has nothing but boats inside of it. So if I was to run my model against this homogeneous imagery, you can see it goes ahead and segments everything, which in this case are all of the boats. So I can click on the boat, it's called segment, but I know that it's a boat. And I can start to do some basic analysis, like looking at an attribute table and saying that, okay, I've got about 2,000 different boats inside of the inner harbor. Similar scenarios would be applying this Segment Anything model to, for example, high-resolution satellite imagery of just farmland. You can segment all the different cultivated areas of your farmlands and do land use analysis, or you can point it to an anchorage area, let's say outside of Hong Kong, and pick out all of the different container ships, or just point it at a parking lot and pick out all the different cars without doing any additional training. So what I want you to do is I want you to get the add-in and use the pre-trained GeoAI models like the Segment Anything model, and let me know how you go in the comments below. Thanks a lot.